Hi, my friends. I have a super fun painting for you guys to try today. Very abstract like we've done before, but we're going to be picking out some shapes that we see and drawing them in with a pen. Check this out. Okay, I've got 2 sheets of watercolor paper here taped down. It looks like there's one, but there's two. And you can turn this into some cards or twin paintings, and it's kind of fun. So we're going to start with some blue here. Today, it's all about abstract and just laying down blobs of paint. I just sprayed my paints here because they're a little bit dry, and I've got my filbert. And I'm not focusing on florals as I've done before, but we're just going to do some random marks on our page in various colors. And you can even change up your brushes too. So the point of these types of exercises is to get yourself out of your analytic brain for a moment as you're adding in these blobs and just start making marks on your paper. The whole point is to start playing around with the colors. As you see, I've switched up to a turquoise and now I'm going to do a cadmium yellow. I still have my big filbert brush, but I'm not concentrating on trying to make certain shapes, but rather just trying to make a lovely collage. Splattering on your paper as well, just tapping your brush and allowing paint to splatter and spread is a really beautiful effect. Let's try some green now. So some dabs, some lines, some blobs. Let's try a liner brush here and get some littler marks. Scribbling and scrubbing your paper too. As you can see there's some dry brushing that happened where you're allowing that paint to start drying out. I've got a sponge here too. Like I said, we're just going to have fun with this. This should be mindless where you're just putting marks on your paper. I'm dipping into this orangey red and splotching that around. And really not worrying about what this composition is going to look like. This is hopefully where you can start getting into your flow state where you're not analyzing with your logical brain, switching up my brushes again, adding in some different colors, but you are using just the emotional side of your brain. We're just kind of feeling it out, adding in that paint and, whatever you feel like doing. This is a great exercise when you don't know what to paint, or if you're frustrated or you're bored with painting, or you've had a bad day and you just need to do something that feels therapeutic in nature. So I want to talk a little bit more about what flow state is. And flow state is this idea of where time could pass and you wouldn't even notice it. You could be cold when you start painting, but you don't feel that temperature rising or falling. You're not aware of how much time you've spent on something. You're not thinking about your issues. You're just enjoying the process and creating. And that is what flow state is. Look at that. That was a great splatter. Oh man, have so much fun with this, guys. And so I'm hoping that this can be something that you experience here as we're creating this art together. Flow state is something that's responsible for a lot of creativity where people are they're not judging what they're doing. They're not getting super frustrated or worried or anxious about it. They're just in the moment and experiencing a lot of joy moment to moment here. So take a look at your painting, and if there's any spaces that you'd like to add some color to, go ahead and do that. It's fine to leave white space as well. And it's also okay to put in marks that you know what it's going to be. I mean, the end result is that we're going to be marking this up with a black pen and just finding some recognizable objects. Okay, the next fun part of this, I've got several different black pens here. This one has a bit of a thicker tip on it. I can't get the lid on there. We go. And then we have one that has a thinner one. Sorry, it's a little bit out of focus because I have the autofocus on for the close-up of the painting. Let's use this thicker one first. And we're just going to look for things that look recognizable. So this to me looks kind of like a plant, maybe some leaves jutting out of a stem. It could be a flower or just a green leafy plant, in this case, a blue leafy plant. But I'm just going to add some extra shapes to this, make this a flower. And that's okay. You can do this. This is painting and then doodling. Sometimes we doodle and then we paint over that. And that works with these pens because they are waterproof. I'm seeing a llama here, so I'm just going to start adding in some of those shapes, little details for the llama guy. All right, we'll take our thin pen now, and I'm thinking this green stuff here, it looks kind of like a cactus, and it has all these little cactus pieces that are connected to each other. So you could make this beads like in a necklace. I'm going to add in some little spikies here to really make this look like a cactus. This experience is so much fun, and I'm hoping you're enjoying it so far. If you're enjoying this video, if you could give this a like and also hit subscribe and the little bell that reminds you and notifies you when I post something, that'll help out my channel a lot and I appreciate it. And then go over to the comments and let me know what is an object here that you're seeing right now that you wish that I would have filled in. All right, I see a snake here. Look at that. It's got some really pointy teeth happening. Kind of scary. So we'll just add that in, snake head, and then this kind of looks like that, a sickle, kind of like a sickle, like that tool. And so I'm just going to fill that in here. And let's see. Sometimes you need to take a pause, step back, and see if you can recognize something else. I'm feeling like this turquoise thing looks kind of like an alien to me with a really big, weird brain head. So like I told you, this is going to be kind of fun, kind of wonky, and just a weird exercise, but hopefully relaxing, and hopefully it's humorous too as well. So I'm just adding in a little face there, kind of a weird smile, big old eye, huge brain, all the waves. Let's see. So this little llama guy, no idea that was going to come out in these blobs, and just going to outline him because I feel like he needs a little more definition. You know, whatever. All right. So again, sort of has a little smile there. All right. So here, this seems like an obvious plant. So just outlining that as well. And I'm curious as you're watching this, if you are finding yourself getting into that flow space, maybe not because of my narration, but if you do this on your own, possibly you'll experience that as well. You know what? This thing right here looks like a lightning bolt. So I'm just going to embellish on that a little bit. And of course the yellow gives that away, right? So all right, over here, this kind of looks like a kitty sitting here. Guys, I want you to be as silly and creative as possible as I'm putting in the details for this cat. Just try to find the funniest, weirdest objects in this. It's such a fun way to do an exercise in watercolor that is not going to stress you out. Hopefully not stress you out. If I'm honest, I know I did stop this video just a couple times just for a little bit more analysis of like kind of trying to find some shapes or some objects out of these things. You know, as I'm talking and doing this and narrating and all the things, it's kind of hard to think of things. But if you are able to take some space, like right here, I've got some balloon shapes that I'm finding. But if you're able just to kind of take some space and see things for what they are, you can find some hilarious things in there. All right, right here, I think this looks kind of like a plot of dirt. So let's add some little flowers to it. You can do various lengths if you want to, just some simple shapes. And a few weeks back, I did a video similar to this, but we did abstract painting with the intention of florals. And so a lot of those blobs that I put down, you know, tended to have the floral shape or shapes of leaves, that kind of thing. So that's a whole different thing, but I just thought it would be fun and curious to just kind of see where things go by allowing your brain to fill in those details. So let's see right here. Looks like another snake. Now he's cut off because there is tape down the middle. And of course, remember there are two pieces of paper here. So right now it looks like a snake. When you split them up, maybe not so much, but that's okay. I'm seeing a key over here, like one of those big old house keys, and this little guy, just a little bit of a flower. Again, adding in some extra shapes if you want to, adding in some extra paint too would be really great. I'm hoping that you have been enjoying your painting journey. I don't know if there are other ideas that you have for videos I can make similar to this or different that's getting your brain in that space of creating, you know, in that flow space where you're just creating and enjoying and having a relief from your stressors. But leave me a comment below if you have an idea Or also, as you probably know, as a mental health therapist, I love bringing in the psychological tips and self-care tips as well. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I love having conversations with you guys and hearing what you're thinking or how you're reacting. It's very meaningful to me. So I appreciate you guys when you're able to give me feedback. So this is just kind of a weird, like, I don't know, sea monster type thing. Maybe I'm going to add some scales and just kind of add some big shapes. You can use a Sharpie. Now, the markers I'm using, I have are from Etcher. And Etcher has a lot of lovely watercolor pens, waterproof, which is great because you can put paint over it and nothing is going to bleed and spread and all that stuff. But I also like to use micron pens as well. But with this kind of a project, since if you're not going to paint over the black ink, then go ahead and use whatever black ink you want, as long as it's, thick enough that you can see it or makes a good mark for you. This looks like a mushroom. So we're doing a mushroom here. Kind of weird, kind of funny. He's upside down in case it's hard to see what I'm seeing there. So anyway, I hope you're having a good time. Just checking in with you. How's your body feeling? If you're feeling any type of tension, take that deep breath like I always recommend as I'm filling in the teeth of this key, because it certainly needs a little bit more details for us to know what it is. And yeah, if you're feeling completely relaxed, then this exercise is doing what it's supposed to do, which is making me happy. If you're not feeling relaxed, take that breath. We are done. You've made it through. And now it's time for that lovely paint reveal, which is one of our favorites. And guys, I always want to remind you, I am on teaching watercolor on Patreon, and I have so many cool bonus content opportunities for you guys, including I have a mental health art workshop that is a new tier. And so that's once a month. And that's where we go in depth on the mental health topic of the day. And I help you go through some painting exercises to reinforce the information that we're learning and sharing. So check that out. My link is in the description for Patreon. But if you want to join, even at the $2.50 level, you can get 2 tutorials per month exclusive to Patreon, other bonus content, more tutorials, art prints, live stream, all the things. And guys, look at this. You can cut this out. You can make cards. And you have 2 lovely, crazy pictures. You could make 4 out of them. You could frame them however you want. I just want to add a little bit of paint in here because I'm looking at that flower. I'm seeing that guy needs a little brightening up. So we'll just do that right now. I can paint over these because they're waterproof pens. And even if you don't have a waterproof pen, no worries. You can still paint over it. It's okay if the black spreads. We're not going to go into these detailed rules and try to, always follow them strictly. So, all right, just adding in a little bit of green for my flower. And there you have it, guys. I hope you had so much fun. I will see you soon on the next video.